So everybody says you need bottles and rockers and swinging machines and high chairs and pumps and special dummies and on and on and on and on the list grows. And honestly, it can get so overwhelming and super confusing when you start planning for your newborn baby that you might even think about palming it off to your partner before you've even started. And don't worry, even I thought about this when we had our little girl, but it's important that you don't, that you involve yourself in this part of the decision-making process. So with that in mind, I wanted to run through the basic essentials, and I'm talking, the basic, most minimalistic pieces of equipment you'll need for your newborn when you bring them home for the first time. Nothing more, nothing less than just the bare essentials to get you started down this wild roller coaster of a journey called parenthood. Hey everybody, I'm Alex Russell, this is Dad Disclosure, and in this video we're going to talk about the basic essentials a father needs to be prepared for their newborn baby. So let's jump right in, let's talk feeding. These are the basic essentials you need to get started when it comes to feeding your newborn. First off, bottles are the most important product you have to purchase and be prepared for your newborn. Whether you're deciding to breastfeed, straight formula feed, or have decided on offering a bit of both, you'll need an absolute minimum of 3 bottles to use and reuse. Any less and you'll be struggling to keep up with demand as the newborns feed at least every 2 hours, which is a lot of feeding. If you're breastfeeding, I definitely recommend having a few bottles prepared anyway, because there are many things that can change through the birthing stage, requiring you to have formula handy. And also mum's milk can actually take a few days to come into full flow, which may require you to have bottles and to actually formula feed initially. Now, we're not talking brands or specifics in this video today, rather the basic essentials needed, so make sure to check out my other videos for a better breakdown of each category if you want to learn a little bit more. However, when it comes to bottles, try purchasing the bottle packs as they come with a sanitizer, a bottle brush, teats, and normally 4 or so other bottles, different sizes, medium, small, large, which can take you all the way through to 6 months to a year. Definitely takes the headache away from purchasing all of these individually. Bibs and cloths, you'll need at least 5 to 10 bibs or baby cloths because they spill and spit up milk all of the damn time. Honestly, for the first 6 months, it's just easier having a bib wrapped around their neck, which you can replace easily. It just means that you're not replacing your own outfit from the spit up, you're not replacing theirs all the time. It just saves a lot of time and hassle in washing. Breast pumps. So this is a bit of a debatable product as it all depends on how the birth goes. If you're separated from baby for a minimum of 6 hours, they say, then you'll need a pump to make sure the flow of milk continues in mum and that their body naturally produces and continues producing it. Whether you do want sort of manual, single, or a double pump is dependent on your journey and your confirmation with your partner. Things like split feeding or the occasional feed where you as the father do it may just require a single or a manual pump. Really easy, really small, really portable. But if you're pumping to store or to maximize the flow or even creating bottles for family and parents to use when babysitting, then a double could be ideal for you. Milk storage wise, ice cube trays for collecting milk works really well, or you can even get those specific breast milk plastic sandwich bags which mums use a lot of to record dates. Alternatively, you can just pump for each bottle that you need through the day. They say 4 hours at room temp and about 4 days in the fridge. Formula wise, they go through about 1 can of formula a week at around $28 a pop, and they eat every 2 hours right through the night, so there's a lot of feeding going on. Just ask your midwife what they recommend and feel comfortable before deciding on a brand. You can also talk to friends and family what their recommendations are. Just be aware that you really do need to follow the water to formula ratio on the back of those formula cans because if you don't follow it, the baby can get quite congested, can get quite gassy and windy and very, very uncomfortable. You don't want an uncomfortable baby. So moving on, let's talk baby cleaning and baby health. Here are the basic essentials needed for cleaning baby and for baby's health. So baby baths. My nanny used to tell me all the time about how she used to bath me in the kitchen sink or the laundry sink back in the day. They used to utilize anything back then. It was really about convenience. And we all seem to grow up perfectly fine, I think. Something like a portable baby bath that sort of collapses down works well if you don't have a bath at home, as it's small, it's compact, and it generally stores away quite easily. They do recommend not bathing your baby with soap and shampooing your baby for the first few weeks so they can build up that sort of natural barrier around their skin, and soap will generally just rub that off, which can cause problems. Baby thermometer, really important to have one to check their temperature. My girl's coming up 6 months and I've used ours over 15 times, I would say, to check temperatures. A good temp for babies is around 36 degrees. and anything over 38 degrees should be treated with caution, should be looking to go down to the hospital ASAP. Little things like soft baby cloths, maybe 3 to 5 of these max, as you can reuse and wash them. They're like face cloths but smaller and softer. You generally need soft fabric that's really good for their sensitive skin. Nappies, hard to really say exactly with this because all babies have different sized bums and bodies. Babies go through around 10 to 12 diapers per day, and you'll want to change them regularly. They say maximum 6 hours, but I think earlier is better to stop the moisture just sitting on their private parts. Nappy rash is a thing. Make sure you have a Google of it and really try to keep that private part area nice and dry. So probably, I reckon, 3 to 4 hours is a good length of time. Wet wipes. I would love to say I use reusable nappies and wet wipes, but it's so damn hard to get into this when you're sleep deprived, energy deficient, and providing constant attention to baby all day. So don't beat yourself up if you are also the same as me and decided to give up on those reusables. Also purchase these things in bulk in the supermarkets when they have their sales and just try to prepare for that. Cool. Moving on to transporting baby. Here's a list of the essentials that I find for transporting baby to and from places. A car seat or capsule to get little bubs home from her hospital is absolute must. You might only use it for the first time and not for weeks after, but unfortunately they still need to get home somehow, so you do need to have one. You could borrow a friend or a family's one if you can't afford one, or even rent one from Baby Factory. They're like $60 for 6 months or so. Pram. You'll want a pram to get out and walk baby once you feel comfortable with them. I can promise you that the walls will start closing in on you at home after a few days of feeding and changing, crying, sleeping, screaming and repeating. You'll want to get out and about into the cold, nice air, and you'll probably still feel a little bit nervous about carrying them, so a pram is probably perfect for that, so you can actually lay them down and go for a walk. Baby carrier. Probably not needed straight away in all honesty, but you'll slowly notice if your baby is clingy or not. And if they are, then something to carry them close to your body whilst walking is probably best. That way they feel more comfortable, they can feel your heart rate, their heartbeat, they feel safe rather than left alone in a pram. So sleeping baby list, which gives you a breakdown of the basic essentials for that. First off, white noise machines. Something small, has volume changing buttons and portable is best. You'll use this in their bed, on your walks, at the cafe, anywhere really where baby is going to sleep. Plus white noise is fantastic for them to get accustomed to, as it allows them to sleep through loud noises like vacuums or car doors closing, horns, or even dogs barking. Baby bed. Probably the most important when it comes to sleeping. I'd always start with a bassinet or baby cot because you'll want baby right next to your bed for the first few weeks, if not months. They will wake up all the time, need feeding through the night, need their dummies put back in, and it's a lot easier if you can just, roll over the bed and do this rather than going all the way into their room. Also, most of you, just like me, will feel way too nervous to have them in another room, and they do recommend keeping them in your own room for up to 6 months because it really reduces the risk of SIDS, or the sudden infant death syndrome, which we don't like talking about. Toys, no toys guys, they don't need anything like this till they're at least 3 months old. Just music, talking, touching, communicating with them is the most important. Baby monitor, I'd always just say a noise monitor works the best because it's the crying you need to listen out for when they're hungry or when they're uncomfortable or something's happened. And generally that will be through the day when you put them down for a sleep and do some chores or have a shower. At night they're going to be sleeping in your room, so you're going to hear them pretty quickly. You don't need a feeding chair. Honestly, just sit on the floor, use an office chair, find a couch. You don't need a specific dedicated feeding chair. Random tip, roll up towels and squeeze them on either side of baby to create like a type of cradle when on the floor or on the bed whilst playing or interacting with them. Just means they're not going to roll anywhere. And also baby mattresses always need to be firm and not soft. It may feel uncomfortable for you when you're pushing it and testing it at the shop because that's a personal preference, but soft mattresses are a no-no because it's really causes a risk of blocking that airway if baby rolls over because their face can actually form into the mattress. All right, clothing and equipment for baby. Sleep sacks, you'll want to purchase 2 or 3 newborn sleep sacks that can alternate between a swaddle and one that allows arms free. My daughter absolutely hated the sack that restricted her arms from day one, so we actually always had her arms free. And again, no blankets, guys. You don't want those blankets over top of them in case they wiggle around because it can cause airway problems if the blanket gets up over their head. Onesies, just a bunch of cotton onesies, maybe 4 or 5, both long and short sleeve that you can easily change because they'll get mess over them all the time, and also make sure that they're nice zip ones. Hat and beanie. For the sun outside, you want a hat because they've got sensitive skin, and obviously in winter you want that beanie. They lose a lot of heat through their head. Socks, lots of socks, but please no shoes. They don't need the latest Air Jordans or the latest Nikes. It's just uncomfortable for them, and we want baby to be as comfortable as possible through the day. Bodysuits, babies normally go through a couple of changes a day, if not more. So bodysuits are super simple to change. 4 or 5 of these would work. Again, make sure there's zips, not the buttons or the Velcro, because they're really fiddly to muck around with, especially in the middle of the night when you're changing them. Also, just a little note, never purchase jeans or uncomfortable clothes just because it might look cute on baby. Babies need to be comfortable, they need to grow, they need to have space to allow everything to, change and alter as they get bigger. Anything like the jeans and the denim is really restricting that, and it's just going to make them uncomfortable and not happy through the day. And a few extra tips. I said this before, but you can rent car capsules from places like Baby Factory for $60 or so for 6 months. They're safety checked and approved regularly to ensure 100% satisfaction, and it's just a fantastic way to keep the cost down. If you're thinking of having a baby shower, do what we did and create a register with what you actually need leading up to the birth. I know it sounds weird, but it's a practical thing to do when preparing for baby to come, rather than accepting hundreds of dollars worth of gifts that are double ups or actually no good to you. Let people know what you actually need. Also, and always buy things on special. If you need a pram or a bassinet, wait till Farmers have a sale or wait till other shops have a sale, because they might be priced at $600-700, but on those sales they can be cut at like 50%, and you might find that you can purchase something for $200-300. Would love some interaction with you guys, so throw some comments down below. Let me know your dad tips and tricks or other things that you find are probably essential when bringing newborn home from the hospital. And again, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.